Hi, my name is Samantha Watley, and this is Enhancing Teacher Child Interactions Using the Class Framework, a professional development unit for early childhood educators. This presentation is all about explaining the structure of the modules for this course, discussing the syllabus, quickly discussing the instructional media piece, which is published on YouTube. Showing a sample assignment, we'll go over that. We'll discuss the rubric and the survey that was created for this assignment, and we will explain what instructional strategies were used to my design. And I will answer the following questions. What did I learn about this project? And what was my takeaways from my professional life? What is the class? The class is an acronym that stands for Classroom Assessment Scoring System. This assessment tool is to measure quality interactions in classrooms. Class can be used for infant through third grade. There is separate dimensions and indicators for infant and toddler and pre-K through third grade. For this assignment or module, we'll focus on the pre-K only. We will not be discussing infant and toddler. The objective of this project was to improve teacher-child interactions through targeted professional development embedded with the class framework. The scope was a unit of instructional design specifically for early childhood educators who want to enhance quality interactions. Some of the key things that I often hear when I am doing professional development at my agency is, yeah, I know you taught me about it, but what do I do in the moment? So this is all about connecting that class foundation and showing and building bridges to how you actually do it in the moment, as well as it's embedded in research, and it's practical. Was designed to be broken up into four modules. First and foremost, the introduction to the class framework and the interaction domains. I wanted the practitioners or educators to be clear in the class framework before even showing them what that interaction may look like. And then practical strategies for enhancing interactions, really showing what does it look like. Like, I know that you've heard the term instructional support or classroom organization, but what does that look like in your actual environment? And then instructional media is a part of it. So I did an instructional video just to kind of give them the framework of what class is. So it was really like the first introduction of it. And then lastly, you would evaluate those practices that you did as an instructor. So it will be reflective activities and then assessments to evaluate professional growth. To extend this more in a perfect world, um, my educational coaches would be following up and seeing if this really was effective and seeing if they need more one-on-one coaching in the moment. This is one thing to be in a class, but research shows that coaching is another form of professional development. So I think that will be a key component in adding to this module that was developed for this course. This was formulated to be small clusters of classes throughout a 4 week, um, excuse me, a 5 week time frame. Um, didn't want to overwhelm staff, and sometimes it's difficult in early childhood to get teachers out of the classroom. So I wanted something practical that possibly can be delivered in partly virtual, but maybe also in person, just because of those constraints with scheduling and keeping up a ratio and coverage. So week one is all about the class framework and overview, which will be the video that's really just discussing what is class, um, what's the key domains, what is the indicators, what is the evidence about around effective teacher interactions, and then week two and through three is a deep dive into emotional support and classroom organization. So it's really discussing the framework, well, not the framework, but the domains to really take a deep dive. And then week four is instructional support domain. Nationally, most pre-K classrooms don't score in the high threshold for this assessment. So I thought it would be important to really focus one whole module on instructional support to really show teachers what is that back and forth conversation going to look like. And then lastly, applying the strategies and reflection. Um, I really want to see what this look like through journal assignments, getting engaging in peer feedback, doing some modeling, and really giving the ball to our instructional or educational coaches to continue doing some mentoring and coaching in the moment for those who still may not feel comfortable and feel like I can really take this into the classroom. For our course, we had to do an instructional media um, assignment. I will link my YouTube link in the description of this assignment because it was quite difficult to integrate it into here. However, the video is all about, you know, excuse me, class and basically what the domains and indicators are, and really discussing some of those best practices. But it's really just a small, quick video to just give them some foundational knowledge on what it is. And I believe that that instructional media piece could be used as kind of like pre-work. I could send it out prior to the professional development just so they have a little pre-knowledge of class before we start talking about it. Or it can simply be the beginning of my course, or definitely because of what I just spoke about before with issues with coverage and ratio, definitely can be a part of just a video series that teachers can go back to continue to connect their learning and what they're doing in the classroom to that video. I did find it I found that assignment to be very inspirational because I've never posted a video on YouTube. So I was very thankful to experience a new way to reach uh, staff and not just in our network. So like my job uses Microsoft Office, but we partner with sites that can't really get into that domain because they're not um, actually in our network. So I think YouTube is going to be a great tool because I could record all of them and say, here, every time you are having a problem, you can go right to this video. The sample, I was about to say assessment, excuse me. The sample assignment um, would be a reflective journal that staff will complete after module one. Um, but also, the assignment is embedded into the professional development of an activity of staff modeling scenarios of what a quality interaction would look like. And then having some class rated observers to score those interactions if they were in the moment. Assessment is a very big part of really knowing as an instructor or teacher, no matter adult learning or early childhood education, like, are your students learning? For me, it's very important as the senior manager at my employment to ensure that the data I'm seeing, um, training and course corrections are being done. And so when I designed the rubric, I wanted it to kind of fit that mold, you know. And my survey, I made sure that it was quantitative and qualitative, um, because when doing a survey, it's not just doing a survey, and not just getting feedback, but you are collecting data. And so as the instructor, it lets me know what's the next step. Is there coaching involved? Is there more professional development? Do I need to change how I'm doing the professional development? Um, how can I get a clear picture of if those learning outcomes and the course quality is good? Um, is the journal a good way to assess? And is it a good activity? Um, can learners take this information and use it as practical information inside of the classroom? I also, when I did my survey, I did it through Microsoft Forms. We use Microsoft Office at my job, but when I had previous courses about quantitative and qualitative research, I used that platform um, through Franklin to do a survey. So I thought it would be a good idea to do the same thing for this assignment. Sometimes we forget that when we are engaging adult learners, that is just like when you are engaging children in learning, that we all learn different ways. So um, I kind of use that thought process in designing this course for our staff. I thought the video and reflection aspect of it would be good for our hearing and seeing learners. Also, scaffolding and really talking through domains and saying, well, why doesn't that fit in that domain? Or why is that not a 7? Um, or what are those instructional strategies actually in the classroom? Like, taking what was taught and deepening the understanding of the learner, the teachers, and how can they use this in the classroom? Um, is the really biggest thing. Like, we have to give our teachers something practical to do in the moment, or it's just knowledge that they're sitting on. So I really wanted to do something that was hands-on, but yet integrating technology and integrating the different ways that adults learn. By the end of the professional development, it was important that the staff understood the class framework, understood what the class is, um, can demonstrate what those domains look like in real time, um, analyzing and improving those teacher interactions, applying practical strategies to their classroom, and reflect on their professional growth or how they will use this information and how can they see themselves in this information. As a tool, it's really big on engaging and inspiring and thriving in learning, and most of all, not being biased, right? So a quote that came to me is, effective teacher child interactions are the foundation of quality early childhood education. I don't think it's the Office of Head Start would not choose something that is not evidence and research based to determine if environments are quality. So it's important at my agency specifically, but if you are a Head Start, to make sure you have things that or learning experiences, excuse me, that discuss the class framework, that looks ahead, uses data to reinforce reflective teaching. This is all about the continuous improvement loop that Head Start goes through, but any child care program should really look at, or organization. What is the continuous improvement? What is the benchmark? how can we further develop our staff, whether teacher, nurse, whatever, but we never stop learning. We never arrive. So that's my reflection. I also, what did I learn from this project was I learned that I can use more technological tools to enhance the things that I'm teaching staff, especially like YouTube, using YouTube as a means to get information out there and not being afraid of new technology. I also learned how to put together a course to fidelity and fully. And I really think this enhanced what I'm already doing. Like, I definitely can enhance on, I'll always do a survey at the end, but how am I using that data to inform what's the next thing I think I could grow on? I also think I can grow on, or this course taught me, okay, it made me think further into class, like not just describing and telling staff what class is, but allowing them to see themselves in there. I think I just went over what I can take away in my professional life. Um, the goal is I'm supposed to be becoming the director once the current director retires. So I think that I want to use this information to develop adult teach not adult teachers, develop staff to teach adult learners effectively. Here are some of the sources that were cited. Primarily, a lot of my information came from the class manual. Has two editions now, so primarily this came from edition one because that's what we use, and also what Head Start evaluates the classrooms on. Um, I drew from school readiness information and kindergarten transition data, um, early childhood education studies, from our course materials about instructional design and professional development sources. Of course, if you have any questions, you can leave a comment under the YouTube, or you can leave a comment in our discussion forum. Um, as well as the next slide is giving some resources if you are in early childhood, um, such as the Office of Head Start. They have professional development learning courses, as well as the class itself. Teachstone is who the class assessment is through. They have a multitude of blogs and practice videos and kind of give you some guidance on implementation, whether you want to do it in infant and toddler or pre-K or edition 1 or 2, um, as well as the National Association of Young Children, which in short is NACY. They have plenty of materials as well. They publish scholarly, well, they publish works. I cannot confirm if it's scholarly or not, but they have a lot of great resources there as well. Thank you for your time. I hope this wasn't too long. Thank you.